Ladies and gentlemen, I have some good news for you. Some breaking news. Do you see these beautiful black brothers before you? These wonderful police officers? Well, they're no longer in the police force. They have been fired. And unfortunately, 2 of the 5 police officers that you see before you have reached a plea deal last year. And I don't even know what the status of their sentencing was. But 3 of these 5 police officers stood their ground. They was like, we ain't do nothing wrong. What's wrong with you? We're just doing our jobs. Well, let me just tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to want to listen to this article because I want you to know that they have been found not guilty, okay? Please listen to this article that I'm about to read to you because it has some insight at the consequences and repercussions to the actions of Killer Carmelo. I promise you, you're going to want to see this. This is going to open your eyes. I told you guys, this is the South. Those of you who are thinking that Killer Carmelo is going to get off scot-free, you're wrong. And now this is going to prove my case. It's going to prove my point that what happened over there in California when it came to OJ is not going to happen down here in the South. Mark my words, Killer Carmelo will be found guilty big time in Texas, okay? Because when you find out how we got here, you will see what I'm talking about. Check this out. 3 former Memphis officers acquitted in the beating death of Tyre Nichols. All right. 3 former Memphis police officers were found not guilty on murder charges in the beating death of Tyre Nichols after he fled a traffic stop in 2023. The all-white jury deliberated. Did you hear what I just said? No. You didn't hear me. Let me say it again. The all-white jury. The all-white jury. The all-white jury. Wait a minute now. Is this the consequences and repercussions of Killer Carmelo? Do you mean tell me that white people are being strategic when they had enough? I told you clowns that we are not going to have no race war. How are we going to have race war when most of us are on their side, okay? Do you think these nice 5 police officers, minus 2 of them, we'll just say 3 of them. Do you think these 3 police officers are going to be on the black community, pro-black, Black Lives Matter side? Or they're going to be on the side of justice, okay? On the side of, hey, we need to have law-abiding citizens. We need decorum. We need people to act civilized. Are they going to be on that side? We are on this side. Stay mad. Now, you all know that they're going to probably be upset and they're going to try to march. But this is Tennessee. They are not going to be doing that much rioting because the police officers are ready. And I might do a part 2 to this because when these people, the Luton Americans, the basketball Americans that didn't do Americans, when they find out that an all-white jury deliberated and found these beautiful black men not guilty, oh, you know they're going to start chimping out in the streets there. You know they're going to start doing that. And you know I'm going to cover the entire crash out on TikTok. So be prepared for a part 2 to this video. Okay, let me go ahead and finish reading this article because I do have 2 video clips that are going to basically give you the insight just in case some of you have forgotten about this case. I didn't because I took up for these brothers when it happened. I looked at the video footage and I said, I don't see nothing wrong here. What did they do wrong? Anyway. Let me say it again because it felt so good to say. The all-white jury deliberated for about 8.5 hours over 2 days. Terdarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith were acquitted on all charges, including second-degree murder, aggravated assault, aggravated kidnapping, official misconduct, and official oppression. What in the hell is official oppression? Defendants hugged their lawyer. What they're saying, after the jury's verdict was read, the defendants hugged their lawyers as relatives of the former officers cried. One relative yelled, "Thank you, Jesus! Hallelujah!" Prosecutors argued that the officers used excessive deadly force in trying to handcuff Nichols and were criminally responsible for each other's actions. They also said the officers had a duty to intervene and stop the beating and tell medical personnel that Nichols had been hit repeatedly in the head, but they failed to do so. In opening statements, Prosecutor Paul Hagerman said the officers were frustrated and full of adrenaline after Nichols fled the traffic stop. Yeah, I mean, they were just doing their job. Why can't he learn how to comply? Why does Tyre, or Pookie as they call him, why can't he just learn how to comply and just do what the police officers say? I mean, why is that so hard for these people? They were overcome by the moment, the prosecutor said. Nobody's going to call them monsters, Hagerman said. It doesn't take monsters to kill a man. The other side, defense attorney, attempted to refute accusations that the officers used excessive force to subdue Nichols and followed police policies and standards. They also argued that Nichols was actively resisting arrest, which he was, okay, like most of these people, and not complying with orders to present his hands to be cuffed. The defense also seemed to score points with their use of force experts who testified that officers on trial acted in compliance with police department policies and widely accepted law enforcement standards. The defense also suggested Nichols was on drugs, giving him the strength to fight off big, fat, beautiful, strong police officers. I mean, by the way, I'm not lying when I tell you these are some big brothers, okay? These were not small police officers. They were tall and big, okay? And you had skinny, crackhead Tyre Nichols or whatever his name is, all right? He was just fighting them all off like he was like Super Tyrone or Super Pookie or Super Ray Ray. He had crackhead strength, I swear. Some mushrooms containing the hallucinogenic psilocybin were also found in his car. A TBI agent testified, however, a toxicology report showed Nichols only had alcohol and a small amount of marijuana in his system. So I'm not going to read the rest of this article, but I will show you two video clips, one from a local news station, the other one from a national news station that's going to go into details. This one right here that I'm going to show you, it's going to go over the entire timeline so it can refresh your memory just in case you are not familiar with this case or you forgot all about it.
How did we get here? The path to this day comes some 2 years and 5 months after Nichols was initially stopped in Hickory Hill. Since then, it has been a long and tedious process for those involved, and for Nichols' family, a painful and emotional time. Here's WREG's Shay Arthur with a look at how we got here.
Where they are.
For the last 8 days, we've taken you inside a Shelby County courtroom. Sometimes they were tense.
He got out of the car and he grabbed a guy that he thought had done something wrong.
Other times, emotional testimony. Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy spoke to us about his team of attorneys on the case.
They've worked very hard for a long time in preparing this case. They were very thoroughly prepared, and they fought really hard to get justice for Tyre Nichols.
What's been discussed with so many closely watching goes back to this intersection, January 7th, 2023, at Ross and Rains Roads, where police claim they initially attempted to stop Tyre Nichols and ultimately ended in this quiet neighborhood about half a mile down the street, which we later learned from watching MPD body and dash camera video was also where Nichols was repeatedly punched and kicked not far from his family home. 3 days later, he died at the hospital. 10 days later, 5 Memphis police officers are fired, including the 3 who have been on trial: Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, and Justin Smith. The 2 others have reached other agreements on their charges. On January 26th, the group was indicted in state court. Then the next day, the shocking video of Nichols' arrest is released to the public. On January 28th, the Scorpion Unit was deactivated. That was a specialized team these officers were part of. It was supposed to target criminal hotspots. Months later, on September 12, 2023, the men were federally indicted. And more than a year later, after weeks of a federal trial, on October 2nd, 2024, a federal jury reached a mixed verdict. Then fast forward, April 28, 2025, the state trial for Smith, Bean, and Haley begins. For your news leader, Shay Arthur, WREG News Channel 3.
So the world is healing, and here is a video. I don't know if I'm going to play all of this because it's a little long, but here is a national video that talks about the entire case as well as the verdict.
News that the verdict is in the state trial of 3 former MPD officers in the beating death of Tyre Nichols. Now, we've been covering this case from beginning till right now, which seems to be the end, as we've gotten word that the jury has reached a verdict. We have not heard that verdict yet. The jury is being seated. The courtroom is being seated. We want to take a live look at the courtroom here in just a second and give you an idea of what it looks like there. This is a live look in the courtroom now. We want to stop what we're doing and let you hear what's happening in the courtroom right now.
Okay, so I'm going to fast forward because I've seen the actual court verdict when it was read, and that entire process takes about 4 minutes. No wonder this video is about 6 minutes and 46 seconds. So they're going to have each defendant stand up, and they're going to go over they're going to say not guilty, not guilty. So let's just fast forward through all of that and get right to the part where they have been found not guilty. So here we go, right here, this part. Here we go.
Demetrius Haley, not guilty. Count 7. We, the jury, find the defendant, Justin Smith, not guilty. All verdict forms have been signed by the foreperson. Attorneys, you can have a seat with your clients. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have performed your duty. We appreciate the time and attention that you all have given to this case. We will now excuse you all from the courtroom.
We're going to be excused.
And there you go. You have the information that we just heard live from the courtroom. Not guilty on all counts for all 3 former MPD officers. Tadarius Bean, Justin Smith, and Demetrius Haley all faced several counts, 7 charges in total each of them getting a not guilty verdict on each count. I'll just go back through some of this here real briefly for you for a second in case you missed a little bit of it. Tadarius Bean, not guilty. All 3 former MPD officers found not guilty of second-degree murder, found not guilty of aggravated assault and acting in concert. I want to go through this with you again. Found not guilty on count 3, which was aggravated kidnapping and bodily injury. Again, not guilty on count 4, which was aggravated kidnapping with a deadly weapon. On count 5, which was official misconduct, which was unauthorized excessive exercise of official authority, found not guilty. Another official misconduct count, which was count 6, again, not guilty. And then count 7, official oppression, not guilty. So all 3 former MPD officers getting not guilty verdicts on each of the 7 counts that they faced in the state trial in the death of Tyre Nichols.
I bet you the 2 police officers, I don't even know which one it was. I don't know which one of these police officers took the plea deal. I bet you they punch in air right now. I bet you they punch in air like, oh my God, I can't believe that we did a plea deal. We could have just stood our ground and stuck with the rest of them and then found not guilty. Now, I'm sure I'm going to do a part 2 to this video because this is breaking news. So the black community is just now getting this news. And when they find out that an all-white jury, found these brothers not guilty, they acquitted them. Oh boy, you know it's going to be a lot of chimping out in the streets over there in Memphis. But I don't think it's going to get out of hand. Like I said, we're not California down here in the South. This is not New York. We don't allow the criminal element to take control of the neighborhoods and the streets, okay, as if we are a lawless society. That's not going to be the case down here. But I do know that once the word get out, there are going to be a lot of salty tears from the white liberals as well as black folks from the community over there on the left. And I'll be here to show you. And I'm going to also go on TikTok because you know they're going to be really chimping out over there, okay? And I'm going to show you the reactions to this. But I wanted to do a quick video right now to give you the good news, the good news that justice have been served. And I told you, listen to me, I know what I'm talking about. Killer Carmelo will be found guilty. The awakening is upon us, and the white folks are tired. T.I. read, and this is just the beginning. Let me know what you think by leaving a comment below this video. Don't forget to give me a like, and if you're new to this channel, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later, taters.